Support for Colorado Today comes from Safeway, where you can make back to school a breeze. Shop lunch essentials, snacking favorites, and even check off vaccinations all in one trip. Get started at Safeway.com or in the Safeway app. Support for Colorado Today comes from Credit Union of Colorado. With access to over 30,000 ATMs and a mobile app, they're dedicated to offering the services of a big bank with a heart. Learn more at honestlygood.org.
If you like camping, you might want to pause this podcast after I tell you this. Rocky Mountain National Park is opening campsite reservations at 8 o'clock this morning for its Moraine Park campground, which I do think is the best one in the park. It's been closed for 2 years for improvements. Good luck grabbing a spot. I'm Arlo Perez Esquivel. Coming up, immigrants who came here before 2021 could get a pathway to stay legally under a new bill in Congress presented by a Colorado Republican.
It would need to have not just buy-in, but active support from President Trump, and I'm not sure the sponsors have that yet.
Then what to expect from monsoon season?
We're still very much on the front end of it.
You'll get advice on how to protect yourself and your valuables. Plus, some heroes wear capes. Others have fishing poles.
I ended up with a little over 3,000 fish, and second place, I think, had a little over 1,000.
It's Tuesday, July 22nd. Here's the news in Colorado today. In a surprising turn for a Republican who ran on being tough on immigrants, Colorado Congressman Gabe Evans is introducing a bill in Congress that would offer legal status to millions of undocumented people who've lived here for years. CPR's Caitlin Kim and Benta Berkland are both here to help us sort through this. Caitlin, Benta, it's a twofer.
Yay, you're so lucky.
Caitlin, could you explain what this bill would do?
Sure, it's called the Dignity Act, and it actually isn't a new bill. It predates Republican Representative Gabe Evans' time in Congress, but it's just been reintroduced with Evans as a co-sponsor, and he's been publicly pushing the bill. The lead sponsors are Republican Congresswoman Maria Salazar of Florida and Democratic Congresswoman Veronica Escobar of Texas, so it is bipartisan, and the bill is about offering some protection from the Trump administration's deportation push by providing a pathway to legal status, not citizenship. I want to stress that, not citizenship, but legal status for people already in the country illegally. It would give them the ability to work and protect them from removal. There are actually a lot of provisions in this bill, but the key ones are someone who is undocumented must have been living in the U.S. prior to 2021, not have a criminal record, be working and paying taxes, and it also requires them to pay restitution to the U.S. government, $7,000 over 7 years.
And now, Benta, you spoke with Evans yesterday. Why is he putting forward this legislation?
Evans said he wants to provide a pathway to permanence for immigrants who are working hard and contributing to the economy. And he's talked a lot about his own family. His grandfather became a citizen after fighting in World War II. One group Evans says he really wants to offer this to people who came in legally, but their visa expired. So people who are working in Colorado and in other states.
As I've talked to folks, talk to employers, talk to farmers, talk to ag producers, talk to hospitality folks, talk to construction workers, talk to the people that are trying to build homes so that we can get our housing crisis under control. These are all specific things that they've told me. And so that's where this Dignity Act comes in. It's not amnesty. There's no path to citizenship. There's nothing free being handed out in this bill.
I'd note that Evans is getting a lot of pushback on this bill from some on the right. You hear him there trying to make the case that it's not amnesty. Just a reminder that he represents the congressional district in Colorado with the largest Latino population at nearly 40%. And he's also running for re-election in the state's only truly swing district.
Yeah, sounds like the tightrope that he needs to walk. Caitlin, from your vantage point in Washington, D.C., what would need to happen for this bill to move forward and to have a chance to pass?
A lot, Arlo, but the big one is it would need to have not just buy-in, but active support from President Trump, and I'm not sure the sponsors have that yet. The White House said Trump will not support any amnesty for, quote, illegal aliens in any way, unquote. And even if he can be persuaded that this isn't amnesty, I'm not sure a majority of House Republicans are there yet either. They are taking action on immigration, but just not in this direction. Ohio Republican Jim Jordan has told reporters he may revive and revise a Republican immigration bill that passed in the last Congress but stalled in the Senate. It cracks down on legal immigration, further limiting the legal ways people can come into the country.
Whoa, so even legal immigration could get harder, let alone what Evans is trying to do for people without documentation. Benta, did Evans talk about how the Dignity Act fits into what we normally hear from him on immigration, which is a heavy focus on enforcement?
The Dignity Act would only apply to people without a criminal background. I asked Evans how he defines that. Recent reporting from the Colorado Sun, using data from ICE's Denver field office, shows that a lot of people detained by ICE have pending criminal charges, but they haven't been convicted of a crime. Evans told me he's comfortable with ICE detaining people even when the legal process hasn't been completed.
And so if somebody's illegally present in the country and they're doing bad enough things to where there's probable cause to then charge them with additional crimes, then, this is why, we do this with American citizens. Why wouldn't you arrest somebody like that and then evaluate the case?
Though there is a difference between arresting someone into the criminal justice system and letting the case play out. Our colleagues have reported that ICE is taking people out of their criminal cases where they'd have due process and just sending them to deportation. Evans did also tell me that people with a DUI should be targeted for deportation, but for things like traffic violations, it really should depend on the severity of the infraction. Is there a long list of offenses? And he also said something like speeding in a school zone is a lot different than having a broken taillight.
Yeah, and I do think this is part of the difficulty of a bill like this, right? I feel like Congress does these one-size-fits-all bills where Evans is talking about some very small, detailed stuff that, this kind of legislation doesn't always get into. And Evans may be part of that group of Republicans asking the Trump administration to focus on criminals for deportation. But he did just vote to give Trump a lot more money to continue carrying out his mass deportation policies.
CPR Public Affairs reporters Caitlin Kim and Benta Berkland. Thank you both.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Expect the possibility of some flash flooding across the Front Range this week. This is because monsoon season has officially started in Colorado. This will bring much-needed heavy rains, but this is a blessing and a curse. According to the state, flooding is the most frequent and costly natural hazard in the United States and causes more fatalities than any other natural hazard. To discuss how you can protect your home and yourself from it, we are chatting with Denverite's Juanita Hurtado Huérfano. Hola, Juanita.
Hola, Arlo.
Juanita, when did monsoon season start and where are we at?
Well, monsoons are created by shifting winds, which comes with thunderstorms and lightning. The shifting winds just started to happen in early July. I talked to Bruno Rodriguez, a forecaster at the local National Weather Service, and he said,
We're still very much on the front end of it, but we've already seen almost daily showers and thunderstorms over much of the mountains, most afternoons, which is fairly typical.
And now, floodings can be incredibly costly. In 2013, for example, the floods in Boulder County and Estes Park happened during the monsoon period, and those caused millions of dollars in damages. So what can people do to protect their homes?
While that kind of flooding, like what happened in 2013, is unusual, here are a few things you can do. A quick preventative measure is clearing your gutters. This can stop water from accumulating and causing damages to your home. Another thing will be to make sure your doors and windows are fully shut. And if you want to go the extra mile, using items like tarps or duct tape to add extra sealing can't hurt. And lastly, just make sure important documents or items are kept at a high point inside your house, not in the basement.
And I think it's important to note that some areas of Colorado are in drought right now. In fact, we've had frequent fires across the state. So would these heavy rains at least help prevent fire season?
Sort of. Rodriguez said that for that to be the case, in places like the Western Slope, where there is a drought, monsoon activity will have to be stronger.
If it does end up being a much more active monsoon season, it could certainly help taper things a little bit.
Denverite reporter Juanita Hurtado Huérfano. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
On the western slope right now, Coloradans are trying to combat an invasive predator by arming themselves with fishing poles.
I usually get here at about 7 in the morning, leave at 8 or 8:30, get home, have some dinner, re-rig my rods, and then go to bed and wake up at 6 and do it again the next day.
Chase Nicholson is fishing on Ridgeway Reservoir. He floats on his kayak on emerald green water under a bright blue sky. He quickly brings his fly fishing rod back and... CPR's Stina Sieg met with Nicholson and other anglers competing in a tournament. And she talked to Bozzy from Grand Junction to share more.
Hi, Stina.
Hi, Bozzy.
So this is something I haven't seen yet. Tell us about this tournament.
Well, it's called the Ridgeway Reservoir Smallmouth Bass Classic. Quite a mouthful. It happens every other year and it lasts 5 weeks. And Nicholson has actually won it more than anyone else 4 times. And last time...
I ended up with a little over 3,000 fish, and second place I think had a little over 1,000.
3,000 fish? That sounds like a huge haul.
Oh, yeah, it is. And get this, the grand prize for this year's tournament is $10,000.
Nice.
But Nicholson and others say there's another big reward, too. They're helping cut back the population of this invasive smallmouth bass.
Before it becomes unstoppable.
What is it that makes the smallmouth bass such a threat?
Well, it's super aggressive. It's this destructive predator. It has few predators of its own, and its females can produce around 30,000 eggs. And the fish can just be really harmful to native species. I talked to Eric Garduño. He's an aquatic biologist with Colorado Parks and Wildlife, and he says smallmouth bass can gobble up other fish that are as long as about 8 inches. That's about a third of their size.
They just open that mouth up, suck the fish in, and swallow it whole.
And that includes preying on endangered, beloved species like the humpback chub and razorback sucker.
Oh, no. Are smallmouth bass a big problem in other places beyond the Ridgeway Reservoir?
They are, and especially here on the western slope. They've invaded the Green and Yampa rivers, but they're not in the Gunnison or Colorado rivers, and that's where Ridgeway Reservoir eventually flows.
We're just trying to sort of on every front reduce the probability of these fish getting out into those rivers downstream.
And Garduño said something else that really struck me. He said these invasive bass are here because people introduced them. These are popular sporting fish in places like the Great Lakes, and folks thought it'd be fun to fish for them here in Colorado. So Garduño says humans brought them here, and now it's our job to remove them. And this tournament is an effective and fun way to do that. It runs through August 10th.
Stina, I've never seen smallmouth bass on a menu. Can we eat them?
Well, it depends who you talk to. Some anglers like the taste, some do not. Eric Garduño is definitely a fan. He says that they are especially good in fish tacos with a liberal squeeze of lime.
Fish tacos are always a good idea.
Agreed.
CPR's Stina Sieg covering Western Colorado. Thanks, Stina.
Thanks, Bozzy.
Thanks to Bozzy, and thanks to you and those of you who support Colorado Today with a donation. You can find out more at the link in our show notes. I'm Arlo Perez Esquivel. This is CPR News.
Support for Colorado Today comes from Safeway, where you can shop online and get easy delivery or free pickup. Get the same prices, deals, and rewards as in-store. Shop the weekly ad, clip deals, and earn points at Safeway.com or in the Safeway app. Support for Colorado Today comes from Credit Union of Colorado. With access to over 30,000 ATMs and a mobile app, they're dedicated to offering the services of a big bank with a heart. Learn more at honestlygood.org.